Hey, what's up everybody, it's Cinou here and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are turning kids drawings into reality. And before we start, I just want to say that this video was fully inspired by Benny Productions. I'm pretty sure that you guys are familiar with him. If you're not, go ahead and check his YouTube channel down in the description below. So without further ado, let's get started. So if you didn't get it, I'm just gonna go to Google Images and grab some random kids drawing, and I try to Photoshop it to make it as real as possible. Okay, so for the first drawing, I think this little mouse is perfect for this challenge. So let's just load it into Photoshop and see what we can do. Oh, by the way, I'm gonna be using Photoshop on PC just because I can do more things here, so please don't kill me. Alright, so first thing first, we have to select his body parts. For this simple drawing, I decided to split his body into 3 main parts. Okay, that sounded kinda evil. Okay, so I started by selecting his head, which was fairly easy. It takes a little bit of time, but it's nothing too complicated. So after I was done, I had to fill it in so it turns into a shape. And I did the same thing for the body and the tail. So after I was done, it looked something like this. So thanks for watching. Okay, so I found this fur texture and I had to apply it to the shapes that I selected. The head, the body, and the tail. So after that, I had to clean it a little bit because, not gonna lie, this mouse is kinda dirty. And now it came the time to make the shadows and the highlights. For the shadows, I started with his ear and then I moved down along his head. I'm not gonna lie, I was not sure how this was gonna turn out because I never done this before. It was one of those situations like you know what you're doing but you really don't know what you're doing. But at the end, it came out looking good, otherwise I'm not gonna be uploading this video. Then I had to move down his legs and I had to do all the little fingers. The original photo did not have fingers, but I thought this looked more realistic. I'm not gonna lie, I kinda struggled in this part, but then I got it. So I had to fix a little bit of shading on his body and on his head, and I did the shading for the tail. And then I noticed I didn't add the nose or the eyes, which kinda looked creepy. So I added those, and then I had to do the shading for the eye, and of course I struggled. After I did that, I added the highlights and I moved along his head. And then I did the same thing for his back, and I went back to his nose and I tried to make it as 3D and realistic as possible. And then I realized that the image is starting to look good. So I kept going and I added the highlights for the tail as well. To be honest, now I think about it, mouse tails don't really look like that, but what are you gonna do about it? Sue me. And then I added highlights for the legs. Wait, are those hands or legs? This video is slowly falling apart. Then I found this grass background. It wasn't big enough, so I had to duplicate it and then I fixed the edges. So I had to change the color of the grass to make it look like nighttime, and then I had to blend in the mouse inside the grass to make it more realistic. And then to blend the mouse even more, I had to add the shadows for both the background and the mouse, which was kind of like a nightmare. Get it? Nightmare. Then I decided to put some smoke in, not only to blend him in, but to kind of set the mood to make it look kinda creepy. Ooh. For a more pleasing look, I added tilt blur. And then I had to fix the tail because guess what? I messed up. Again. All what's left now is to add a little filter, and here is the final result. I'm not gonna lie, there was like 100 things that could have gone wrong with this operation, I guess. But I kind of fixed it, so not gonna lie, I'm kind of proud. I dig this one. I'm kind of curious to what you guys think, so comment down below. Do you like the mouse or you don't? By the way, a friendly reminder, if you are new to this channel, please subscribe. There's a lot of content that I'm planning to do. So if you like what you see, please subscribe. So next we have this dragon, and I think it looks pretty cool, and I know it is not really a kid's drawing, but for the sake of this video, let's just pretend it's a kid's drawing. I feel like there's gonna be a lot of work, but let's just start already. So first thing, I loaded the image to Photoshop, and then I had to select each part of his body, starting from his head, and then I moved down his belly, then his back, and then his hands and legs and tail, and yeah, it's just a lot of work. So after I was done with selecting all of those shapes, it's time to add the texture. So I found this snake and alligator skins, and I had to apply them to each one of those body parts. And of course I have to apply the texture so it matches the position of that body part. And then it came the hard part. adding the shadows. So I draw a light source just to help me to remember where the light is coming from. So I had to match all the shadows and I had to make them look like so the light was coming from that way. So I guess just enjoy seeing me struggling. For the mouth, I use an actual alligator mouth and I put it in there, and then I just put the shadings and it looked like it belongs there. And for the claws, I use an actual tiger claw or nail, so I just got it from Google. I selected it and I tried to put each claw on the actual hands of the dragon. I know that this part doesn't really look that good, but when I was making this, in the back of my mind, I know that this part was supposed to be super dark, so it doesn't really matter. So for the teeth, I really forgot which teeth I got, but it was just a matter of selecting, duplicating, and shading again. For the eye, I just got this eye and I selected it out and I put it in there and I kind of blended it in and it came out looking good. And then for the backbones, I just got some random bone and I selected it so it matches those shapes, and then I just fit each shape on the back of the dragon and I warped it accordingly to the original ones. So I was just experimenting and it came out looking pretty alright. For the background, I got this really cool night background and I had to make it taller and I fixed it from the bottom. And then I got a bunch of rocks, I stick them together so the dragon has somewhere to sit. And of course, to make it more realistic, I had to add the shading below the dragon and on the dragon so he looks like he's actually sitting in there. And then it finally came the time to add the highlights, so I started from the head and I moved my way down. That sounds so wrong. Please ignore it. Alright, so that took way longer than what I expected, but it came out looking good. So what I've ended up doing is I changed the position of the background and I made the moon behind the body of the dragon. I think like this, it looks way more realistic. The final thing that I had to do is to color grade the final image so everything comes together and all the colors matches. And just like that, I was done. Here's the final image. Okay, so right off the bat, this is miles better than the mouse, mainly because I took so long trying to perfect this image. It also helped that the original image has a lot of details which helps hiding the imperfections. I'm really happy that this came out pretty decent and I want to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comment section below. Be honest. Alright, so next up we have this really cool drawing of a robot walking towards the screen. His hands are glowing with aura and I just saw this and I was like, this has a lot of potential of becoming a really nice art. So let's just hope I don't mess this up. Okay, so I started by uploading the image into Photoshop and then I cut off the background and then I started selecting all the shapes that I can select. There's a lot of shapes as you can see. There's the head, the belly, the arms and the legs. So I needed to select all of those. So after I was done, it's the time to add the texture. I'm assuming this is a really old warrior robot, so I got this old rusty scratched metal and I think it fits him well, so I started applying that texture to all the shapes. And for the rings, the blue rings on his arms and legs, I found this blue metal texture and I think that worked pretty good. For the background, I found this really nice farm image and I changed the color grading so it's nighttime. Now I think about it, all of those images are at nighttime, so that's that. And for a light source, I added the moon to make it more convincing that it's nighttime, and with a little bit of glow, it looks pretty good. For the shading, I added shadows on all the body parts and I took my time to make it as realistic as possible. Okay, so the robot has two blue balls on his chest. I can't can't even say that. I'm literally 5 years old. Anyways, I had to make the shading so it matches the original drawing. Then I found this blue ball that I duplicated and then I made it darker. I added the shading and it looked fine, I guess. And then I added those blue rings on both of his arms. They looked pretty decent, I guess. And then I moved on to his eyes. It took me some attempts, but finally get it. Then I had to add some shadows in the bottom so he looks like he's actually standing on the field. And then I added the highlights, which is always fun, and it turned out pretty good. Then I fixed a little bit of that lighting and I made his metal shine on the right side. Which takes me to the aura. So the aura, what I did with a really soft brush, I draw these blue lines going up his hand to simulate an aura. So then I blurred them a little bit and I played around with the blending options, and I guess that worked. And then I had to add some blue highlights on the sides of the robot to make it more realistic. For the final touches, what I did is I added some smoke around him to create some depth, and then I applied a tilt shift blur to make it more realistic. And then I was done. All I had to do is to do some color grading, and here's the final product. So I'm kind of happy about the results. I really like how the aura stands out, and I really just love the image. It overall looks pretty good. Let me know if you like this one or not. Okay, so that's it for today's video. Today we turned 3 kids' drawings into reality. If you guys like this type of content, be sure to go ahead and like this video and tell me in the comment section below. If you are new to this YouTube channel, please subscribe. I have a lot of videos coming. Also, please make sure that the next time that you are browsing Instagram, you follow me. It's really easy. Just hit the follow button. The link is also in the description below. Thank you so much for watching, and I catch you next week with a brand new video. Let's get it.